Josh, so, for me, I'm coming up on 3 decades of running, but probably the one biggest thing that I've always got to work on is maintaining my knees.
Absolutely.
Runner's knee, probably one of the big injuries that all runners get at some point in their life, and I think what we want to, try to look at is what can we do to prevent it?
Yeah, absolutely. Ounce of prevention beats a pound of cure. Better to be proactive with the knee and get it strong and ready for the miles than to be in here rehabbing all the time.
Without a doubt. And the thing about the knee is it's a hinge joint, right? So it really just opens and closes. So it's really not designed to do a lot of lateral stability. We run on trails, we run on a lot of uneven surfaces. If these stabilizing muscles, which actually aren't in the knee itself, but are up in the hip, down in the ankle, if we can really keep those strong, then a lot of pressure comes off the knee doesn't have to do so much work, and we can really protect those ligaments and tendons that surround it.
Cool.
So let's get to work.
Let's do it.
So what we're gonna do is start out with you on the floor,
okay,
on a nice easy mat, maybe something you have in the gym or the carpet, and we're gonna bring out what we call our BOSU trainer,
okay,
right? Basically something that's an unstable surface, because what we really wanna do is challenge the neuromuscular system of the hips and ankles to benefit the knees.
And what's the advantage to going barefoot without the shoes on this
So
guy?
the barefoot is basically gonna wake up the nerves. You have all these proprioceptors in your feet, so they signal all the way up into the spine to really teach the nervous system how to fire the muscles. So doing it just barefoot will really speed up the whole recovery factor and speed up the whole strengthening cycle with these hips.
Cool.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna start out with is what we call a pelvic bridge. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna push through the heels, keep the knees, hips, and shoulders all in line, really working glutes, adductors, hamstrings, and rotators of the hips to keep you in a nice smooth surface. So we call this an isometric hold or just a static hold. If you start with the arms wide, that keeps balance a little easier. If you bring them in towards your chest, all of a sudden all the balance of your body is just on these feet and up at the top of your shoulder blades, so it's a much more unstable unit, which means a lot more work in the hips.
Absolutely, yeah, you can definitely feel the difference.
Right, so what we'll typically look to do is maybe a 30-second hold up to a 60-second hold, depending on how good you are at doing this. You do less if you're really wobbly and losing the position, because we really want to reinforce good hips. Excellent. How's that feeling?
Feels pretty good.
Getting a little bit of a burn down there? Excellent. All right, so now we'll drop down. So the next phase of this is kind of putting it into motion. So what we do is we take the muscles and basically come up into extension of the hips, and then we come back down. So basically repeating up and down, just like if you're taking one step after another. So what we're doing here is a double leg hip extension. So working everything, which creates a new challenge each time you come up to find stability.
And how much contact do I want when I go down?
Well, when you go down, you're basically just gonna rest a little bit, give the muscles a tiny bit of a break, but you're also gonna re-challenge the nervous system to find balance. Whereas a static hold, you find balance and then you just challenge the endurance factor of that.
Right.
Excellent. So typically 8 to 12 reps on an up and down, with the hip extension is plenty to get a good workout.
Perfect.
All right, so to create a greater degree of difficulty, what we'll do here is a single leg bridge. So we're gonna start in this position, and I'll basically just take the opposite leg up. You'll see that there's overload of challenge onto the stabilizing hip, which really makes you have to work one hip. Internal, external hip rotators are challenged, trying to keep the hips level so we don't get that hip dump that happens, and when we do, that's when the knees get sacrificed.
Got it.
Much tougher?
A lot tougher,
Probably twice as hard, exactly. So, single leg balance, because it's harder, maybe a 15 to 30 second hold, just to give that enough work without over fatiguing the system.
Okay.
Take a rest. So now again, because again we're moving as we run, we've got to teach that hip extension with one leg up and down. So now we'll do the single leg extension. So you're going to bring this leg up. Now the hips are going to drop down evenly and then push back up. Nice and smooth. Again, tapping the ground, maximal extension, up and down. Big workout on these hips, right?
Yep.
Seeing a little bit of shaking. It's a good nervous system challenge. Excellent. So typical 8 to 12 reps, but if we start out and we're hitting fatigue, maybe it's only 4 to 6. Whatever we can handle without overloading the body. Excellent, good job, nice. Okay, take a rest, come on up. So what we've done there is really challenge the hip side of strengthening these knees, and now what we're gonna do is come out and challenge the ankles, because these are the big ones when that foot hits the ground.
Yeah.
So what I like to do is grab that AirX pad for me. So what we do is create another unstable surface, but this time more challenge on the feet. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have you step on there, right foot steps on it. And what we do is we do what we call a floor grid routine, okay? And so what you're gonna just kind of step on it and get the feel of creating some balance. Good. So what we'll typically do is take a little lightweight dumbbell, you can use a water bottle, anything that's got a little bit of a weight to it, creates a challenge. We're gonna put the weight in the opposite hand of the foot that you're balancing on. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna come down and basically just try to balance that weight and put it over here at 9 o'clock on your floor grid, and then back up, try to regain balance, and then back down towards 10 o'clock. So you can see a lot of challenge, that knee's falling in, ankles and hips are really having to work to stabilize.
Absolutely.
Right? Try to come up towards 12. Good. And so what we'll do is we'll typically start and go halfway around the clock. So you'll keep working your way up and down.
And I find the closer I'm in here, the easier it is. The farther I reach out,
without a doubt.
the
further you reach out, the greater the challenge it is all the way up through the hip. So the closer you're in, the more it stays kind of down through the foot. The further you reach out, the higher it goes up all the way into the hip.
Yeah, you can really feel it all.
Big challenge, right?
It's good.
Excellent. So we call that, you know, the hand touch floor grid, right? Big workout. So if we take the weight away, we can do the same type of exercise. It's almost like a single leg squat with the legs. So again, if you're bouncing on the right leg, what you're gonna do is straighten the left leg, right? You're gonna start out right in front of you and tap down right at 12 o'clock and then come back up. And you're gonna start to work your way around all the way back to 6 o'clock. Again, trying to keep the hips nice and level as you step all the way through.
Yeah, you definitely, as you get lower, it's
exactly.
really
You'll
starts
see
to
the
activate.
hips want to dump and the shoulders want to drop down.
Yeah.
So what we're really trying to do is keep everything neutral while you're really balancing just on that one leg. And you can see the wobble that's going on.
Yeah.
Very challenging on that knee.
It's good. You can really feel the muscles firing in there.
Right, and so you'll hit fatigue fast. So really just doing one set is plenty of work for the day to get you balanced.
Yeah, it's great.
Excellent. How's that feel?
Feels pretty good.
Yeah.
that right side's definitely loaded
Without
up.
it, you know, wake it up. So obviously we're gonna come back and make sure we hit the left side with those same two exercises, maintaining balance. But if we really strengthen the ankles, take some of that overpronation out of it, strengthen the hips, really get it so that when that knee works, it only works as a hinge joint. It's gonna let you run for miles and miles.
It's cool. I love it.
Nice job, Josh.
They don't call you Dr. Payne for nothing.
Without a doubt.